Guten Tag, alle. Welcome to CitizenCon 2947 in Frankfurt, Germany. So without further ado, we hope you enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Roberts.
Hey, hello Frankfurt. So we're really excited to have you all here in Frankfurt, Germany at CitizenCon 2947. So let's see what the box delivered. So here we are. So the Optane 900p, which is the fastest SSD on the planet, and we've actually been working with Intel for quite a bit of time on this one. And it's some really, really cool tech. Here, I'm going to throw one to the audience here. Who's going to catch? All right, here we go. There we go. Sorry, it's a little wet from the dry ice. David Blundell from Intel, come out. So David's going to talk a little bit about the Optane, and before we kick off everything today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for having us here today. We really appreciate this opportunity. And today at CitizenCon, we're actually launching the product that Chris just tossed out into the audience.
Yes, so it's a big deal for Star Citizen, the fact that we're actually part of a launch of a major piece of hardware. That's very, very cool.
It's a major launch for Intel, of the Intel Optane 900p SSD. And really, it's the first SSD for desktop and workstation users that uses Intel Optane technology. We got together over a couple of years ago, and we started talking about the attributes of this technology, and we thought this was a perfect connection. So what do you think you can get out of this in the upcoming release?
You know, it's the first generation of the technology, and
Absolutely.
It's going to improve, and you know, the operating system is going to sort of embrace it better, and it'll be pretty cool. But it's definitely helping our development now, and I think it will be good for anyone playing Star Citizen too.
Yeah, and we definitely look forward to working with you on the future. And then as part of this collaboration, some of you may have noticed something new out in the atrium. Did anybody see anything new, a little small thing? No, seriously, what we thought is, hey, you know, there's a technical collaboration, will make the gameplay better, make you guys have more fun with this thing, try new experiences, but also we thought we might translate that into a ship.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to CitizenCon 2947, Exploring New Worlds.
We do have the big Saber Raven model right here. It was done by JR Fabrication. It's not a life-size one, as I told you before, but it looks super amazing, and it packs a punch, let me tell you that.
My name's Jason Cole. I'm the lead cinematic animator for Squadron 42, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Look IK, or PCAP Look Transformation. All right, so the left is Look IK, the original system, always on. And then the right is Look IK with a little bit of polish and the animation toolkit, or the Look IK toolkit. And I'll let this run a few times, but you can really see the differences pulling through now. So you can see he's looking right then left, and he's constantly looking back towards CTOW. And we're getting a lot of smaller things in here, like head nods and little head turns.
So this video was showing only a few issues we have with stairs and random obstacles, but this list can be really endless. One way to solve this is to tell animators to make more animation assets, but I think that won't always help, because this is one of those problems you can't fix with animation data alone. There are way too many unpredictable situations, and we just can't consider all of them. The only thing we can do is try to find a procedural solution.
But in Star Citizen, it's really not that simple. I mean, as Ivo is showing here, I've never seen this planet before. And you have situations where it's possible, and what you'll see throughout the day today, where you could be on a mountain, on a planet that potentially nobody else has been on before. Or I've never been to, no QA guy has seen it, up at some corner of this world, and you get into a gunfight for your life. And in those situations, the animation system needs to hold up.
That panel, you know, when we put up the summaries, like animate, what was the discovery? Enhancing mocap data with procedural information. Not exactly the sexiest of all titles, you know, but I think it was a misnomer. You know, it slid it under the radar. That was an amazing presentation.
This is your 5th CitizenCon, is it?
Yeah, it is. Austin, Los Angeles, Manchester, Los Angeles, and now Frankfurt.
Temporal techniques basically work by looking at the previous several frames of motion. In our case, we look at 4 frames prior, and we work out from them previous 4 frames what the results should have been there. So we wobble the image ever so slightly, which is imperceivable to you, and then over the 4 frames, we work out what the details should have been in that 1 pixel, and we can recover that and get a nice soft result. But the problem with using the previous 4 frames, well, there's all sorts of problems, to be honest. It's caused us a lot of headaches. So we have a lot of moving objects. Obviously, we've got spaceships that move. We've got planets that are moving. We've got all sorts of things going on that we might not have in a normal game. And we also have a UI, transparent UI, a transparent glass screen, a transparent visor. All of these things make it quite difficult to account for the previous 4 frames motion, because your visor might be spinning this way, the cockpit might be going that way. There's all sorts going on. So we've recently done a change that hopefully will work around them. But yeah, you'll be able to see this in 3.0 once you get your hands on it. Okay, so that's our final frame. Looking nice, I think you'll agree.
How many members are on your team?
So we have me and 5 others in the UK, and then we work really closely with our Frankfurt team. So there's 2 or 3 guys there that do a lot of graphics, but it's very tightly coupled, like the CPU optimizations and the planetary work.
Why don't you tell me about your experience at CitizenCon? What do you think of it so far?
This is a really great event. I have seen many people, I have seen many new technologies come in, and many new technologies integrated in a project. It's really appreciated by the whole community. I think it's all appreciated by all people who came tonight.
Basically the moment of being tasked with creating a civilization, there was one question that sort of popped into my head immediately, which was that, and abject fear and terror. But once it ended, basically, it was a very simple question of who are they? I mean, that sort of thing seems like a very obvious and silly approach, but it actually can give you a lot of good answers.
This is our lineup of our big 4 plus 1. And so we have, this is kind of the current of where everybody is. So we have our Vandal the Warrior, we have our Ronin and the Tavaran, we have our traders in the Banu, we have our humans there, and then we have our Jean, who we're kind of talking about today. It's important as we progress that we don't necessarily make like a drastic change, right? We want to keep true with what everything's going. If we need to retcon something, we can do that, but it's not something we want to do at every opportunity. We want to keep it consistent. And I think that's, going back to the Marvel way that you were talking about, how typically you work in the broad shape first, and then you go into the details. And that's something you do for a whole race as well, We're not going to try to nail it on the first shot. We're not going to go and maybe try to make the perfect image the first time. We're going to do a lot of images and see what sticks, and we're going to go back to those, see what we're successful, and kind of move on.
Ti poia e iau,
What possesses somebody to go into that kind of field, to sit there and say, I want to create a language, that's my contribution. It's an amazing contribution, don't get me wrong. I have no relation, I can't relate.
Well, it's not really a field yet, I would say. You know, there are a handful of people, getting to be 2 handfuls of people who've done professional language creation for entertainment franchises.
We set up 24 gaming PCs, and people can enjoy the Planetary Playground demo. Planetary Playground demo, you might have heard about that. We already had it at Gamescom, but this is a new one. We got rid of some bugs, and we put in new stuff. One of those is actually the Saber Raven. So people here at the CitizenCon can already enjoy the Saber Raven, fly it around.
So you might have heard a bit of this before, but hopefully there'll be some new stuff in there. So we always start with lore. So what this means is it's always like the best starting point for visual design. It ensures that our ideas sit within like a system tapestry, kind of what we said before, because if we're working in a corner, I'm like, yeah, we're going to have some blues and reds and whatever, then we'll get to like the rest of the system and we'll just have like Skittles, you know, taste the rainbow. So
you want to sort of balance stuff out.
Sure, you want to balance it out.
The fact that we were able to make terrain that's completely spherical and just holds up and works, that's been a challenge in itself. So even when we got to that previous slide where it's like, this is terrain and it's like on a sphere and it's connected, and that was something new completely. It brought its own set of challenges, obviously.
Just the idea that you can walk on forever and you'll end up at the same place at some point. A couple of days.
It's a very long walk.
I don't know, I never tried. And then there's a bit of improvement, some more detail. We had to add another layer of detail on top. And yeah, this is what you see here. Then in the front, you still see it's a little bit of blurriness, like how the textures go into each other. You have like snow going soft into rock. That was the next thing that we had to work on. So you see some early shots of how the terrain was blending. So here you see this colory map, the splat map, doing its work, saying here we have some soil, rock, snow, whatever. And then we just iterated on how we blend the textures together to get more variety and more variety until you have something more nice looking. And in the end, you end up with something like this, and you can have 2 completely different ecosystems right next to each other.
What if I offered you the ability to build your own settlement? To bring civilization to the most untamed of frontiers? A colony ship in the truest sense of the word. And I'm not talking about just transporting people, no. I'm talking about an all-in-one solution designed to build modular structures based on your needs. Capable of building a farm or a habitat, a trading post or a mining operation. I mean, that'd be crazy, right? Allow me to introduce the Pioneer.
So we're here to talk about the Pioneer and other things that are associated with it.
So right off the bat, you know that you're dealing with function over form. It's not going to be like super sexy, it's not going to be pretty, but it's still going to have a really good sort of well thought out industrial design feel to it. So, you know, even as you're walking through this thing, you're still going to appreciate it, and you've got your own essentially flying factory.
Knowledge, information within Star Citizen is very often an analog concept. You don't necessarily know something or not know something, but rather you know things to varying degrees. And the easiest way that I could give for an example would be to consider a car that you're thinking about purchasing. If you've if you're being asked to purchase a car and you haven't actually seen it, you're going to be very conservative in terms of your estimate of what it might be worth. If you're able to see it even from the exterior and verify there's tread on the wheels, the paint job looks okay, etc., then that's going to increase your perception of its value. If you're able to actually, turn the car on, make sure it's running, or better yet, have a mechanic, take a peek under the hood, then that's going to basically bring it, even farther up the scale. And so a lot of what we're doing, with the value of land, which ties over into the Pioneer, because you're going to be setting up these outposts ideally in optimal locations to exploit a lot of this value that's sitting on the surface of these planets.
Tony talks about knowledge, what it all means, but to get that knowledge, you've got to go and find that area to figure out what's there. Is it right for you? And that's where all the exploration ships come in. You could take your Pioneer and do all this with your Pioneer, but it's probably not going to be the best ship for scouting locations. We've got a whole wealth of exploration ships that are designed for finding that information out.
Know what you're building, so that you don't do 5 trips to Hornbach to build something. So if you know what you're building, and then you know the resources that you're going to need for that, you'll save yourself multiple trips, or it will be one of those things where you'll need to have these resources brought to you.
With the greater speed comes greater risk, and you've only got half the weapon, so if you mess that up, you're in trouble.
We see your mouth moving while you're answering my question. That's pretty amazing itself.
And I really like this, that you can unlock your face and move your head around.